Part 2 of The Absentee by Maria Edgeworth, with Stephen Ray as Lord Colambre and Anna Healy as Grace Nugent. Lord and Lady Clonbrony are exiled in fashionable London. Their son, Lord Colambre, has travelled to Ireland for the first time to visit the Clonbrony estate, but Lady Dashfort is determined to trap him into marriage with her daughter Isabel.
Colambre writes so well of his life there. Dublin seems quite to have captured him.
It's to be hoped not entirely, Grace.
Listen. Sir James Brooke and a Captain Bowles of the Cavalry have both been at me to see what they call proper Ireland. I intend to go very soon in a small party to the west. You would like the life in Dublin, I am sure, but be as eager as I am to leave the town and to see where you spent so much of your childhood.
Good. Excellent. He talks of you, you see, Grace. You are not forgotten. Oh, write and tell him how happy he has made me and his old friend.
Do you think maybe he will forget old friends?
Oh, he will not forget. Arthur does not forget me, though he is in the country and has enough troubles of his own. What else does he say about Ireland?
He says that Dublin society is ablaze with new ideas, new tastes in literature and in science. Ideas fly about the dinner tables like stars, he says. Men, and women also, talk about improving their land, have new ambitions, new talents, encourage innovation. He says that he finds it truly more civilized than London. So long as he does not dislike those who remain behind, perforce.
Grace, Grace.
Lady Dashfort, you go too far.
My lord, I assure you, we come here to teach them manners. Society here is hardly civilized.
My mother says these things to startle the less fashionable folk we find ourselves amongst.
I care not a fig for fashion, Lady Isabel.
Nor do we. Or would we be here, my lord?
And you mock our hosts, even Lady Kilpatrick, to say what you say.
I am entertained by them, and so cannot but show them their weaknesses, gently, of course.
My weaknesses too, Lady Dashfort.
Your breeding, my lord, is entirely English.
But not his heart, I think.
Exactly so.
Isabel, Lord Colambre wants to learn about his country. There is someone you should meet who rarely comes to Dublin, cares not a jot for society. Count O'Halloran.
Can you ask him if he will see me?
Better. I have a small party going there. You are invited, my lord.
I shall be delighted. Bravo, Lady Kilpatrick. Your daughter sings delightfully.
Thank you. Lady Dashfort, will you play?
I think not tonight. You remember we were talking of genealogy the other evening?
Which is a particular interest of mine, my lord.
Yes?
Lady Dashfort, you left your family tree here. It is beautifully blazoned. Why don't you show it to Lord Colambre? He'll be interested.
Indeed.
Oh, come, sir. No need to be polite with me by now.
I should be delighted to see.
It is, I admit, beautifully drawn and lettered. It has been in the family, well, you may see for yourself, 400 years or more.
It is beautiful. Indeed it is. You've covered part of...
Oh, an indiscretion of an ancestor, best unseen. Remember your great-uncle John St. Omar, Isabel. All of the men are not sans peur, and none of the women sans approche.
Mamma, please close it up. Lord Colambre can have no interest.
Explain yourself, child.
Another time, Mamma.
I think our friends are owed an explanation. Good breeding does not hint at mystery and leave it in the dark.
Oh, Mamma, please.
Boldness, my child. Oh, tell me, my lord, are you related or connected to the St. Omar?
Mamma.
Not that I'm aware of.
You have a cousin of the name of Nugent, I think.
Yes. Grace Nugent.
Whose mother was...
My aunt, by marriage. Her maiden name was Reynolds, I think. She died when I was a child. I'm certain it was Reynolds.
I was aware she had taken the name. It was not her maiden name. Her maiden name was St. Omar. It has been a closely kept secret.
Secret? What secret?
Please, Mamma.
No, tell me.
It is not worse than many a family has in their past. Indeed, it makes a connection between our family and yours.
You said there were none of the St. Omar women without reproach. None of them?
None. I am sorry.
And Grace? Miss Nugent?
Blood, my lord, has a habit of repeating itself. It has long been buried in your family, clearly, and also in ours. It is of no consequence, of course. Save to Miss Nugent, I suppose. And no one will talk of it to incommode her, will they?
If you will excuse me, my lady, I have a journey to make ready for. O'Halloran, you said, Lady Dashford.
Yes.
I look forward to that meeting. Your servant, Lady Kilpatrick.
My lord, it's been a great pleasure.
Oh, Mamma, so well done.
I think it was, yes. He's the type of young man with a dread of women who conduct themselves ill, or who might in the future. All his breeding, Isabel, my child, all his pride and prejudices, his delicacy, and even his innocence are against such women. I'll sow the seed of doubt, and you'll be ready to snap him up as his plans are shaken to their foundations. He'll not sleep overmuch tonight, I think, my dear.
And so I beg you, dear Mamma, to let me know the truth of this matter as soon as you are able. On your answer depends my happiness, and I believe the happiness of others. Please relieve my uneasiness in this business.
Are you awake?
Yes. We will have to tell the boy.
You dare slander that child. Ireland is a vile place. It is.
It pays, I remind you, your fans and carriages.
And my portion when I came to marriage.
Your dowry would not keep you in gloves, madam. Ireland, I would remind you, is my home.
It pays you by sending little enough rent and slandering a sweet child. What do we tell him?
I don't know, my dear.
They have been friends since we took her in. Colambre is loyal to her. And when he hears that her mother was... well...
Unmarried? Does it signify? There are plenty of married women in society who disgrace their marriage vows nightly, madam, and think nothing of it.
He wants to know if it is true.
If they are good enough friends, it will make no difference to them. You must write in the morning. Good night.
And if they are more than friends, it could break them.
As my dear old mother might have said, many a butterfly is broken on the malicious wheel of truth.
Not even a letter to herself from my lord this past week. 'Tis sad to see her face.
Isn't that the truth of it, Mr. Whip? I had a letter from an old Dublin friend. Says he's heard from another friend in a roundabout sort of a way that this lordling has gone to the country with Lady Dashford and her party, and that he's in a dark mood since he heard about Miss Nugent.
Isn't that the way of the world? Gone off, you say?
Oh, gone to the O'Halloran domain. Lady Isabel in tow.
Now, O'Halloran, you do fox hunt in this country, I suppose?
We do. But do you do it the right way? The English way?
This is Ireland, Captain. They have different customs here.
They may have different customs. That does not make them right.
Yes,
I am
indeed.
sure if you find the way unsatisfactory, Captain, you may say as much to my keepers, and they will see to it.
You will not ride out tomorrow, sir?
I have things to do, my lord.
Would it trouble you if I were to come with you? To see the work on the estate?
My lord, you promised me we might walk in the park.
Excuse me, Lady Isabel. I have reason for asking the favour, sir.
The lady was promised, Colambre.
I mean no slight to Isabel. Sir?
By all means, my boy.
Thank you, sir. Lady Isabel, I have to take the opportunity to learn where I can.
I do understand, of course, Lord Colambre. You must take your chance, sir.
You claim to have good fishing on the estate.
It's good enough for me, sir.
Yes, well, that may be so. We'll test it. You have a particular fly, green or braked hemp and shell, a red beauty even.
You will find a rod in the box room, and flies aplenty. Take your pick.
Ah, thank you.
Now, it's late. you have an early start for the hunting. You'll excuse an old man, ladies. I trust you sleep well.
If you'll excuse me, ladies, I want to see the flies. In the rod room, you said, come?
I'll show you. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, sir.
Good night.
I think Major Heathcock wanted you to give an opinion, Captain.
Oh, yes. Yes, of course. Good night to you.
Good night.
Well, my lord?
I am delighted to meet the Count. Military men seem, I don't know, so upright both in body and mind. The future for me, I declare.
I declare you know nothing of the future, my lord.
You are too serious, my lord. Mamma, could we walk in the park a little? The moon is up, and I think the air would be good for me.
You may walk in the park if Colambre will take you, to make up for a broken promise.
But
You promised me, my lord. I swear when I first saw you at the opera, I was cross.
Cross?
I was with a party. One of the men was being difficult.
Indeed. How so?
He was new to society, it seems. His wife was very young. I didn't know her, of course.
And?
He flirted with me a little, and I with him a little. Nothing, I assure you, to encourage him. Nothing more than a smile across a fan, a drooping eye, a laugh. Nothing.
I see.
You are angry?
Why should I be angry, Lady Isabel?
Quite so. After that evening, I detested Mr. Adams. Detested him.
You flirted with him, though.
It was more to plague the wife than to amuse myself.
And you were amused?
It would amuse anyone.
I see.
There is a great pleasure in making a rival feel jealous for 1 hour. Greater than I can say. To tell the truth, I'd lay down my finger and let it be cut off for the same pleasure again. How she hated me.
How she must have had reason. I think we may go in now.
My lord, surely you don't think anything of what
We will go in now.
I was only making fun, my lord. I wouldn't
Quite
do...
so. I will leave you now, Lady Isabel. Good night.
My lord...
Easy, boy. Easy now. Softly.
Ah! Gone! Too quick!
No matter. Such a day, such a place,
And your guests gone of a sudden like the fish.
I make it a rule never to speak ill of anyone behind their backs. But now you are no longer of that company, I can say it is for the best.
Lady Isabel showed colours I never thought to see in any lady.
Now, would you, my boy, in any lady of worth? Her mother. Well, her mother amused herself in her time by introducing her lovers to old and respectable ladies here in Ireland in a shameless fashion.
Yet you allowed her to visit you.
I had heard you might be of the party. I wanted to see Lord Clonbrony's son for myself, so it served two purposes. Changed your views in time and offered me the chance to talk to a young man who neglects his duty.
Sir?
I was a soldier, sir. I had my education with the colours, in war. Good fellowship, bravery, and great good fortune. I was lucky. But I envy you your education.
You spoke of duty, sir.
Absentees are the scourge of the land and a curse on Ireland.
You're not aware, Count, that you speak to the son of one such absentee.
It does not change my opinion. You were born in Ireland and have seen only the skim of society in Dublin. Nothing. Till you've stood on the strand at Renville and seen Inish Turk from a canvas boat, walked up the Killery, stood on Sleeve Head, drunk pochine at Skull or Skibbereen, and eaten dulce and knelt in the cell on Blasket. You have not seen Ireland.
You love it, sir.
I breathe it. Make no error that the people are wild, feckless, and from time to time even foolish. But better friend, kinder host, a greater talker and finer man or woman you never saw.
My mother talks only of poverty and rain.
And what makes them poor? A glove, a fan, a bottle of scent, a house in town, an education at Cambridge, all paid for. House, sir.
My father will not talk of it.
The agents sweat money from those who have none. Build roads free, build houses free, children forced to labour in their homes for a roof and poor food. Bled dry and the land is ruined. The Irish agents are as bad or worse than the absentees, my lord. They swindle the people and then they swindle the owners over the water. Chiselers, everyone. Go and see, go and see.
I never understood.
Go. Take a servant to show you the way. Larry will go. Disguise yourself. Call yourself Evans. Will you dare?
I will.
Good boy. We'll find old clothes, a shabby old greatcoat and battered shoes. Mr. Evans it shall be.
An adventure.
A small journey. Home.
God, but it's a wild place, this, Larry.
Bless your lordship, isn't this gentle country? Clare now and Connemara, that's hard rock and peat bog only. And the people living in sod huts and near enough dying for want of good land and decent food.
Less of the lordship, Larry. Mr. Evans will do well enough.
Right then.
And your other name?
Brady, sir.
Brady? You don't have a brother Paddy, do you?
I do, sir. He works in London, sir.
For a coachmaker?
I do so. Do you know him, sir?
I do indeed. But I know his master, Mordecai, better.
Oh, bad luck to you, sir. My brother's a fine example to us all. Didn't I'll nick the agent here. Garrity, indeed. Didn't he cast me brother out for standing against his habit of forcing rents up and tenants out that couldn't pay? Whatever good sort of farmer they might be, the curse on his head.
Garrity, is it?
Yeah. His name round here, sir, is old Nick, the horned one. Ooh, bless us both. Get up. Go on, you old nag. I'm in need of a wet. What?
Larry, tell us about the gentleman. A city man, from the looks of him.
Mr. Evans will have the chops and a bottle of the best wine in the house.
Ah, Welsh gentleman, if there is such a beast. Here's your drink.
Landlord, bring a bottle and a glass for yourself.
Oh, now there's something. A glass for myself, indeed. Sláinte.
Your health.
The local wine, sir. Stronger than your clarets and your port wines. Good in moderation, like most things.
Strong stuff indeed. Did my man tell you we'd stay the night if you've room?
I've a bed for you, sir, and he shall take the hayloft.
Very well.
I hear you've been asking questions, Mr. Evans. Is there a reason?
Interest only. This place is owned by Lord Clonbrony, I understand.
He never set foot amongst us this long time. We have to thank God we've got an agent blessed with a kind heart. Mr. Burke was sent by the good Lord, some say.
Indeed.
And him about to be turned off and sent his ways for kindness and fairness and good manners.
No, sir, that can't be true.
I saw the letter myself. Hand over the accounts, which should have been more this season, to Nicholas Garrity, Esquire of Dublin itself. Now, this is a man cared for the people here. Started a school, talked to priest and vicar, gave everyone a fair shake of the whip, and never took a bribe, nor screwed up rents to please the owner.
When is he to go?
Isn't Garrity at Clonbrony Castle this minute, preparing to raise the rents again, and to take what he can squeeze from all and sundry? Isn't it now that Mr. Burke will have to pass on the power of the attorney to him?
We'll see.
We shall that. God have mercy on all. Amen to that.
People live out here.
People live where they're able, Mr. Evans. Oh, there are worse places. And you'll find a widow O'Neill, an informing sort of an old lady, I believe. Get you down, sir. Mrs. O'Neill!
Good day to you both. 'Tis a soft day, and
Larry Brady.
Ah, Mrs. O'Neill, I brought a hungry man with a penny or two in his pocket. You'll not want for a bite and a dish of tea.
I'll take nothing from a passing stranger, Larry. Come in and welcome, sirs.
Is Grace about the cabin?
Hasn't she gone to Clonbrony Castle with her man to see about the lace so they can be married? Come in, sir. We've little enough but fresh eggs and milk and some bread. Come in and sit you down.
I thank you.
I tell you, Mr. Whip, it did me brother's heart good to see the Lord Dean go into that sod-built cabin and sit in a peat-smoked room and eat eggs and bread and drink milk as it were his habit every day of his life. And he and she got on like smoke. Isn't that the truth?
And Grace is your daughter?
Oh, bless you, she will be if she but get the lace with me son. He's her sweetheart many a year now. The place is poor enough, but promised us by Lord Clonbrony himself. Oh, there was a sweet little girling lived in their place then, for whom Grace was named, who made the old lord sign.
Grace?
Grace Nugent, and as kind as soul never breathed God's air. She asked the Lord to write us in forever, and he did so on the back of our papers. Forever.
Mother. Beg your pardon. Bless all here.
Grace, where's me son?
Gone someplace to vent his rage.
What happened?
It's all right, girl. Go on, tell Mr. Evans what happened.
We took the paper to Garrity and he laughed in our faces. Took the papers into a back room and after handed them back to us in an envelope and took the key and said we could come back later to discuss the matter of the lease.
Took the key? Why on earth take the key?
He and his brother said it was for safe keeping. You cannot argue with the agent, sir.
May I see the papers?
They are my papers. You may see them. The life's lace is written on the back.
There is nothing on the back.
Hey, let me see, sir.
It was written on the... I saw his lordship write on... Grace held me hand and kissed me when it was done. It was something she had vowed to do for us. Where is it?
Rubbed out. Covered in ink. Gone.
Holy Mother of Angels, help and protect us all.
Larry, Grace, Mrs. O'Neill, I want to see this man, this Garrity. Will you come with me? Bring the papers.
Then what? Come on, Paddy, tell a man. Put a man out of his misery, will you? What happened?
Didn't he ride in the old carriage down to the castle? The first time he saw it since he was a child. The ruin of what had once been beautiful. Shrubberies run wild, broken steps, pillars overturned, trees felled, and an oak forest quite destroyed. Through the inner yard and past crowds of dejected tenants, and sickly children crying of hunger, and Garrity and his crew in the ladies' dressing room he chose to use as his office. The dining room full of his cronies, eating my lord's food and drinking his drink, and making free with the whole place.
Rabble.
Oh, that's the truth. And they walk in. Larry, me brother, the widow O'Neill still crying, and Grace with her head up high, and ahead of them the Lord Dean himself, stopping only once in front of a picture on a wall.
Mr. Evans, are you all right, sir?
It's only a picture, sir. My friend, Grace Nugent.
Where the devil do you think you're going? You want to see Mr. Garrity? Leave your name with the man downstairs.
We leave our name for no man, sir. Get out of my way.
And he walked past the man gaping there, and Larry and Grace and the widow woman went into my Lady Clonbrony's chamber, where Nicholas Garrity sat at a huge inlaid desk and counted money, sale money. So much for my lord and so much for himself.
Who the devil are you?
Now he takes his feet from off the yellow silk chair he was resting them on and looks sharply across the room where the Lord Dean is standing with the widow and Larry and the lovely Grace. And wasn't Grace promised by him to another man, his own brother indeed, and her having refused him 'twas a short step to rage when Garrity saw her.
Get out! I saw you this morning and your man, whatever his worthless name is. Your son, is he?
He is, and not worthless at all.
And you, mister, who are you to come gawking in, looking at a gentleman about his business?
I'm just a friendly observer, Mr. Garrity, sir, in a manner of speaking.
Then get on your way too. I'll have none of you about here.
We brought the rent money.
She brought the rent money. Listen, you old fool. The rent is finished. The cabin is not yours any longer. I'll take the rent money for quit money. Repair money for damage done to the house of my surveyor while you've been in it.
That's not justice.
You'll be talking courts next. She'll be talking courts and lawyers and all that folderol next.
The money was not for rent, Mr. Garrity. It was, what do you call it? Purse money? Glove money, is it? Bribe money.
And ashamed I am indeed to offer it.
No need to be ashamed to offer money, nor to take it. So, now get out.
Where do we go, Mr. Garrity?
Across the wide world for all I care. Get them out of here.
1 moment. The lease.
You try my patience, mister. Very well. It was renewable, was negotiable, and now no longer payable by the widow nor her kin. So, she goes. They all go.
They said they would pay the rent. They agreed.
My surveyor needs the house.
Your Honour knows that Lord Clonbrony himself signed that lease to give us the place in the lifetime of the family. In writing, on the back.
Show me.
Give it to him.
I see no sign of my lord's name on it at all.
Rubbed off.
Indeed. Who'd listen to you in a court of justice?
Miss Nugent will remember who wrote it.
And what has she to do with anything at all? You want her turned out of his lordship's house for troublemaking?
Never. Not at all. But his lordship will remember. Write to him.
Trouble his lordship with lies.
I am no liar, sir. Before God, I swear it was there.
Walk off out, you can't-now hag.
You took that lease from my hand this morning and it was writ on the back, plain for all to see. Now it has been rubbed off.
You call me a cheat? A liar and a forger?
If they are the right names, sir.
Mark that. Liar, she called me, and forger. The old woman's a liar.
Hey, hold your mouth, Garrity, to call the old lady lawyer. I'll not have that at all.
Threats now. Write it down. Threats in my own place. Threats and lies.
Yes, lies. Enough lies. Now let's hear the voice of truth, shall we?
I have no strangers here, sir. Get out!
I am no stranger to my mother's dressing room, sir. That you pollute. I am Lord Colambre, sir. Now then.
And then imagine the bustle and the hurly-burly and the cringing and the lies and the lick-spitting and the fawning, toadying hand-kissing that went about the place.
And my Lord Colambre?
Yeah, sure didn't he stand his place and not shift an inch and not talk of mistakes nor forgiveness nor nothing in the way of hope for the son of Satan.
Accommodation, sir? Small matters, sir. You shall have no goodwill of me, Mr. Garrity. Nor of my father, neither.
We'll see about your father, Mr. High and Mighty Lord Colambre. We'll see the tune he sings when I tell him his rents are dried up, and his son the cause. Horses!
And hadn't my good brother Larry bought them all
Horses! Horses here, 6 shilling the hire.
Already engaged, Your Honour.
10 shilling. Half a guinea. Gold!
There's none to be had. What a shame. Come along, my lord. You have a journey to make.
And only stopping to write a letter for the post to his father to warn him against dealings with the Garrity brothers, he ran with Larry for the chaise and set off for Dublin, the Irish Sea and London. A bad wind in the sea and fog about the port put him behind, and Garrity had a look of his own sort indeed.
Just a signature, my lord.
It seems hasty, Mr. Garrity.
Necessary, my lord.
Quite so, sir.
And then we get our hands on the readies, my lord.
There's 500 on my account, my lord.
If you'll pass me the pen...
Don't! Stop, father! Don't sign anything. Don't!
Bless you, my dear boy. I thought you were in Ireland.
Burn it, I was sure we had it.
Sign nothing for that man, father.
Nick Garrity, honest Nick. You know him, my lord.
Come now, Garrity. What have you done to offend my son?
Nothing on my honour. I never saw him but for 10 minutes, and him in a foaming passion.
Oh, and I suppose to the lies of some blackguards he went almost incognito.
As well I did, or I'd never have discovered the truth. Here's a list of proposals I have from responsible tenants who offered 3 times the amount on that table and were refused. Sign if you want. Deny it, Garrity, if you can.
I don't understand why.
I have seen what he has done to our lands. Ruin and desolation. I know what better men can do.
Like who, for one?
Mr. Burke, whom you just turned out of house and off our lands, turning all the affairs over to Garrity, who cheats and lies to us and the tenants.
Lies, is it? Cheats, is it? I am a gentleman, sir. I shall present my final account tomorrow. Good day to you.
Is this list the truth?
It is.
Why, there's 3 times more money here than there is on the table. Garrity'll have to find double that or quit, I say. See what he says.
No, sir. Not talked to, not demanded from. Turned out on the instant.
Not so easy, my lord.
I am of age in the next few days, Father. I will give you enough to pay off Garrity's honest account and be done.
Dear boy.
Ah, there's a fine Irish heart for you.
I cannot do it.
Why not?
There are considerations, my lord. Mortgages and advances and certain debts incurred. Loans from Garrity himself and others.
What others?
Mordecai, for one.
Very well. They will be cleared. On 2 conditions.
Ah, what a heart in the boy.
Conditions?
That Garrity be dismissed.
Done. What else?
That you and Mother cease to be absentees.
That's murder done already.
Never! I shall not think of retiring to Ireland. Never!
Mamma. Grace, explain there is an execution standing over Father's head.
How you exaggerate,
If you are
Colambre.
to survive, you have to leave London.
I cannot.
You can, Aunt. Of course you can. You used to love the castle and the park. Remember the woods and the gardens? Remember?
I will not go.
Aunt, you've lived in society, and what do? They laugh at you. Shame us all that hear 'em, and you hear and see nothing. You're blinded by...
Innocence, cousin. Innocence.
I will not believe it.
Lady St. James mocks your taste behind your back.
Mrs. Dareville mimics you to your face.
Her Grace of Torquestra refuses to see you.
They are unkind, Mamma.
Impolite and cruel, Aunt. And my poor uncle is forced to idleness because he's away from the land he loves and the people who love him.
Let him go, Mamma, where his generous and kindly nature can thrive. Please. Where people remember you both fondly and bless you for favours you have long forgotten.
Bless us. Who?
The widow O'Neill, for one.
Is her son still with her?
He is. And his girl remembers you fondly, cousin.
Grace.
Yes.
It's the thought of the furniture there.
We have a house full of fashionable furniture here, Aunt. We could take it.
I could lead fashion.
Yes, Aunt. Yes, you could.
So it is, Mr. Brady, that we're packing and on our way to the castle. Mind that trunk there, and the case, man. Take it out.
Will you be going, Mr. Whip?
Oh, to be honest with you, I don't know. I'm looking for a position. I'm a London man myself, and I can't see myself out in the bogs of Ireland. Can you? No offence, of course.
Not at all. Did I tell you your Lord Dean has done the right thing again? Sure, he saw his friend Arthur Beryl, as sharp a man of practice as I want to know. He says to him, get Mr. Edwards, a good man with a legal matter. Get him to see to the debts and such. And guess what?
He set a road to catch one. It's the morning they're to meet, I think.
Oh, dear God, so it is, and I'm due there myself. I'll tell you later what passed.
Sir Terence?
I bring you a handful, no, an armful of banknotes, Mr. Mordecai, from my Lord Colambre.
How so? And him not of age for 3 days?
He has sent me to look after the accounts, and I hope you'll make a small abatement of the total.
I never make abatements. I'll be damned if I take penny less than the total. And be damned to you too, sir.
You make me neither break your bones nor drop one actionable damn your soul. One word, 5,000 down and a discharge for Lord Clonbrony.
One word? No. I know how to get it, and along with it, revenge for the insults I've had from his son.
Paddy, you heard that, did you? The word revenge. Remember it. I'll call you to witness.
Every word came floating out clear as bell, Sir Terence. Revenge it is.
Raise rebellion amongst my workmen, is it?
I have here 5,000 ready penny, take it or leave it. Take the money, leave the revenge. Or take revenge and lose your money.
Good morning to you.
And you, Mr. Mordecai. Mr. Edwards has the matter to hand. Knows every trick and slip in the book, according to Lord Colambre's friend that set him on. So, slip and slide as you will, Mr. Edwards will know what to do.
Edwards? How the devil did Lord Clonbrony get in the hands of such as him?
No, my friend. It's you in his hands. We'll walk off with our money, and you'll pay the law as well. Good morning.
Wait, Sir Terence, wait. I never allowed for your wheedling ways. I'll make out a receipt. Lord Clonbrony. 5, did you say?
I said 4,750. And that's a final offer, sir.
You're a hard man, Sir Terence.
And that was the way of it, Mr. Whip. Ara put that boot down and listen to me. Lord Clonbrony cleared of debt, and me left looking for a place.
Oh, that's the way of things.
Ah, you and me both then, looking for places to suit. You in London and me, well, the fact is, I'm homesick.
Miss Nugent. Do I disturb you?
Not at all. I've hardly spoken to you since you returned.
You've been busy arranging the move. Is my mother easier about it now?
I think so, yes.
How's your friend, Miss Broadhurst?
About to be married, my lord. She owes you many thanks for bringing Mr. Beryl into her life, she says. We're to take the waters with her at Buxton before going on to Ireland.
They are well suited, you think?
He's an honourable man and kind. They are suited, my lord.
I shall be jealous of him soon.
You cannot be jealous, for you never loved.
Never loved Miss Broadhurst, no.
As she saw. Sir Arthur loved, and she saw that also.
A clear-sighted lady.
And had admirers enough to turn heads. Cousin, are we still friends?
Grace, of course we are friends.
I had hoped... Oh, no matter. If we're friends, it's something, I suppose.
My mother told me that Mr. Salisbury is paying court to you.
I talked with him yesterday. I believe he understands my sentiments perfectly.
You have refused him?
I liked his manners and his conversation. I esteem his character. But I do not love him, and so could not marry him.
But, my dear Miss Nugent, with a high opinion and great esteem, and liking manners and conversation, can there be a better foundation for love?
I never went further than the foundation, nor wish to, my lord.
I do not wish to intrude upon your confidence.
You cannot intrude. I'm ready to give it to you frankly. I refused Mr. Salisbury because I do not love him.
I would be so happy to see you well established, Grace.
I will be happy in Ireland. It will give me great pleasure when we are all together there again.
I'm going abroad, Grace, to serve in a campaign.
No, why? Tell me the truth, why?
Because I love you, and you know it.
I would not hear it now, my lord. Please, can we go on as we have lived? Don't forgo Ireland because of me, please.
There is an obstacle, Grace. I beg you not to ask its nature. But honour and virtue I have and will not forfeit them. But marry, Grace, and be happy.
And he left her in the garden and didn't see her again before she and Lady Clonbrony went to take the waters in Buxton, for the last time before their removal to Clonbrony Castle. It was an empty house he came home to. Is everything to your liking, my lord?
It'll do, Whip. It'll do. Thank you. Whip?
My lord?
You seem unsettled.
I have a favour I'd have asked the senior footman, sir, but seeing he's gone away to take the waters in Bath, sir, it's left me in a quandary, sir.
Yes?
I have a friend, sir, a wheelwright, worked for a man not unknown to your lordship.
Yes?
An Irish friend, begging your pardon, sir.
Ah, yes, indeed. Paddy Brady, is it?
It is, my lord. He's looking to take a position, sir, having lost his place with Mr. Mordecai, on account of his being a witness to some matter with Sir Terence O'Fay, sir.
Tell him it's his and welcome.
Sir?
He can come home. His brother Larry might need him on the farm. He's welcome.
I'll tell him so, sir. Thank you. There is also a gentleman been asking for you at the front door this past hour, sir. I tell him you're not at home. He says he's an Irish friend. I still tell him you're not at home. Not even to Count, sir.
Damn it, man! Send him up this instant! Count O'Halloran!
'Twould do the heart good to see such a friendly greeting every day between friends. The Count, it seemed, had come over to discuss some military matters with the ministry, and felt it a grand opportunity to renew old friendships.
Whip! Some more claret and some cheese. My friend, I'm so glad you came. The house is empty, as you see, and I live between dust sheets. My mother and father are going home.
What made the change?
Circumstance.
They'll be happier than an acquaintance of ours, my friend.
Yes?
Lady Isabel, quite desperate at the last, has agreed to marry that prancing coxcomb Heathcock.
The Major!
The same. She came over on the same packet with Lady Dashford as I did. Talked about nothing but buying rings and necklaces and horses and folderols. How anyone got Heathcock to fall in love is beyond me. I'd have sooner thought of an oyster falling in love with that creature.
Poor man. Poor Isabel.
It seems the season for matrimony. James Brooke is over here on his estate.
James isn't marrying.
To the daughter of a fine Irish lady.
Then to his happiness. I give him joy.
I thought you had a mind to matrimony.
A man should marry, I believe, only when the family of his intended is good from generation to generation. Do you agree?
A man doesn't marry his wife's mother. Yet a prudent man, when he thinks of the daughter, would look sharp at the mother and the grandmother too.
So, no more talk of matrimony, sir. I have a mind to serve in a campaign, if I could get a commission in a regiment going to Spain.
If it comes to that, my boy, I have influence. You must remember, though, that the army is no longer lounging at balls wearing a red coat with an epaulet, nor cutting a figure at county sports. At the present state, the military must be a most honourable scientific profession. It was my passion, as you know, my boy.
Tell me, sir.
Well, when I
And he did. And I kept busy fetching port and nuts and more port, for the old gentleman had a sound appetite, despite his years, and knew good port when he took it.
And we were such close friends, Captain Reynolds and I. Such friends.
Reynolds? Tell me about him, sir. I have my reasons.
A gallant young man. Adventurous. Rash even. He fell gloriously. He was 20. He died in my arms. Sorry, my boy.
I'm sorry to cause you pain, Count. Was he married?
He knew a young English lady. Being educated in a convent in Vienna, they fell in love.
Can you tell me her name?
Saint Omar.
Think, now, Count, think most carefully before you give your answer. A great deal of happiness hangs upon it. Was he married or unmarried?
She was expecting his child when he died. They were married. He told me so. He left no provision for her but a letter and the certificate of marriage which he begged me to get to his father.
The proof! What happened? Count, I must tell you that all her relations, all his friends, all the world denied the marriage, denied her.
No. I went to the English ambassador in Vienna, gave him the package. I had to lead my troops to a distant part of the country for the next day. I learned her brother came for her and took her from the convent. Poor child, poor child.
No fault of yours, Count, and we can right the wrong, and I may marry the woman I love.
The ambassador will be long dead.
His executor.
By God, boy, what good fortune! Brooke, father of your old friend. All the papers are in his family's hands. They will be there, sure as fate.
Whip! Damn you, man! Whip!
My lord.
Take 2 places on the mail for Huntingdon. Pack a valise. My dear Count, please stay here until I return. Hurry, Whip! Hurry, man!
Oh, Grace, my dear. I am so happy. I don't know what to say to you.
You have a knack of choosing well, of course, not being blinded by appearance. Though Arthur is good enough to look upon, I suppose. You remember that man who pestered you as much as Mr. Salisbury still pesters me? Have you no friends, you asked him?
Plenty, he said.
Then you must be a very happy man, you said. And I will dance with the man who can convince me that he has, near relations excepted, one true friend in the world. For he may well make the best husband, you said.
And Arthur has such a best friend. You have news of Colambre?
I'm so confused. We talked, and he said he would go to the colours. I'm not to think of him. Then he wrote this very morning to say he will be here soon. Yes, he's quite out of my mind. He must be, for he tells me so.
Grace, dear, sit down and compose yourself.
I asked him not to come here, to let me go with you and your dear husband when you went home to Cambridgeshire. And he writes to say he's coming to Buxton with news. Such news. I'm very much afraid, dear friend.
Sir James being at home and as excited to be of use to his young friend as may be, the 2 men spent 2 days searching an attic, through papers full of diplomatic circumlocution and cautious diplomacy, through a jungle of papers from the dead ambassador that were in shameful disorder indeed.
It's hopeless, my friend. We've looked in every corner and cupboard. The package is not to be found.
James, look again. My life depends on it. Wait. This chest here under the eaves.
I went through it last night, Colambre.
Behind it. Here. Here. Some bundles still tied. Old gazettes. Vienna gazettes.
I'm sure we looked.
Here, James. We have it. A package addressed to Ralph Reynolds, Esquire. It's here. See, a note on the back. Signed O'Halloran.
Naturally, he took the next coach to London.
Naturally indeed.
Will you let me finish it, Mr. Brady, if you please? He found the Count waiting for him and together with the Count's Irish hound walked down into Soho, where, in a quiet corner, they hoped to find the grandfather of Miss Nugent.
Was he there? Bless his old heart.
He was. And as he liked large old dogs and always said that a man who liked such dogs had no harm in him, the 2 were quickly admitted to a room more gloomy than most attics.
Not a great deal of pleasure left to an old man on his own. But a good dog is a friend.
These are hard to find, Mr. Reynolds, being a dying breed even in Ireland.
I know someone would find me one, Lady Dashford, who is forever assuring me of her good offices. I don't want them from anyone, least of all from her.
Lady Dashford?
You know her? If you were sent by her, go away at once, sir. Take yourself off.
We are not from her. I had a friend, a very good friend, a gallant and very amiable youth, your son.
No, have a care. Not that. No, don't mention... Son, you can strike me dead on the spot, sir. Please.
Colambre, water. I spoke only of my dear, dear friend, your son, sir. Easy now. Easy. Drink.
Who could be so cruel as to say that word to me? No one has done. No one since... Do you know, sir, where he was buried? Do you remember how he died?
Too well. He died in my arms. I buried him myself.
No, sir, I am stunned. I was left childless in the world. All prospects ended at a stroke when he... Not a single relative near enough to be dear to me. I am isolated, I believe.
You are not alone. You have a near relation who will bring you peace and joy. You have a granddaughter.
No, I have no granddaughter. I will acknowledge no illegitimate child.
Colambre, be patient, my friend. I speak of Captain Reynolds, who died in battle in the Austrian service. A more gallant youth never lived. There is a package we have discovered confirming your son's marriage, we believe. My lord, give Mr. Reynolds his package. See, sir, your son's seal.
It is unbroken?
Yes.
My son's writing. I swear, if there is in this package a certificate of marriage, I will acknowledge it on the instant, I swear.
Please, open it, sir.
Marriage between and Miss presently of Vienna and Captain... It is the certificate. I acknowledge there was a marriage, and the child... Oh, the dear child.
Miss Nugent. Grace.
I see love in the matter.
It has that about it. Young blood. Good blood, as I have the honour to know, sir.
I'll see her. No. Where is she? I have done her such blind injustice. Will she ever see her grandfather? I must explain to her. If she will but see me.
She will see you, sir. She will.
But the old man learned she was in Buxton waiting passage to Ireland. He wrote a letter to be taken by Colambre to her.
I'll come to Ireland as soon as I am able. I'd see the likeness of her poor father in her face, and you shall take her father's letters to break her heart. As married settlement, she shall... Well, come now, boy. Oh, I feel a twinge coming on, and if the gout take, I shall roar. Now, give me a pen and paper, sir. Now, hurry. Then get you to her in Buxton and tell her she has collected a grandfather of terrible aspect and temper. Come, sir, a pen.
Action, my boy, is the key to success. Go to Buxton.
There were others making her offers. I told her that I was not free to marry her.
Then make haste, my boy.
If she says yes to me now, it will be more than I deserve.
Her heart will not be given to affectation or to coquetry if she is her father's daughter. Go to her, boy. I will see you at your wedding.
And I drove post-haste to Buxton with the Lordine fretting for more speed, and yet more speed.
He's come. Please, my friend, I beg you, take me away now.
Grace, be still. Easy now, while I find out the truth of the business. He shall not find you here.
You promise me?
Stay in my room. You're safe.
But not from Lady Clonbrony at all. Colambre confronted his mother with the matter.
I insist. Shall I be happy or sad? I know not if I should stand on my head or my heels. Tell me, my dear boy, please. Am I to weep or laugh? Tell the news.
And he did so.
My dear boy, what a pleasure for all of us. We love you, my boy, and dear Grace, almost as a daughter.
I must tell the child. An heiress. Where is she? I must see her.
Mamma, please, wait.
But Lady Clonbrony had already gone her ways.
And you have a grandfather and a name, and are no more Colambre's cousin, and you may begin to love him as fast as you please.
And eventually the old woman went away and left the two together for a time. And plans were made, and promises, and there was laughter and tears, and sure wasn't it something of a madhouse I'd come to work in after all. And a sweet girl she turned out to be. As Mr. Whip always said.
Colambre, my dear, I feel I should go to my grandfather. I must see him. Tell him I long to talk to him.
He's promised to come to Ireland and see us there.
If you're sure, my love.
It was time to get out of England at last. Oh, home again, Paddy Brady, thank God. I drove him well, and we got to the great gates of the park before sunset, and as fine an evening as ever you've seen. The sun shining on the tops of the trees and the leaves changed but not yet dropped. I clicked up the horses and the larks singing, and sorrow a bit could you hear now, for weren't the crowds out near the gates and such a shout they gave. They had the horses off the carriage entirely and drew 'em home with blessing through the park. And the blind harper struck up Gracie Nugent, and the Lord Dean had tears in his eyes, and Lord Clonbrony crying too, and I wasn't all. They are home and welcome. It's not fashion any longer to be an absentee.
In part 2 of The Absentee by Maria Edgeworth, Lord Colambre was played by Stephen Ray, Paddy by Billy Boyle, Whip, Ben Onwukwe, Terence O'Fay, James Berwick, Lord Clonbrony, T.P. McKenna, Lady Clonbrony, Francine Mulrooney, Grace Nugent, Anna Healy, O'Halloran, Shay Gorman, Garrity by John O'Mahony, Mac, Fraser Carr, Sir James Brooke, David Bannerman, Isabel Dashfort, Daniel Allen, Miss Broadhurst, Emma Gregory, Lady Dashfort, Jenny Howe, Lady Kilpatrick, Elizabeth Kelly, Lady Careless, Oriel Smith, Reynolds, Ian Lindsay, Captain Boys, Andrew Wincott, and Mordecai by Terence Edmund. All other parts were played by the company, the piano was played by Andrew Dodge, and The Absentee was adapted by Nick McCarty and produced by Claire Grove.